Hi, I'm Eric Friedman. I'm the Executive Director of the Mad River Valley Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to the latest edition of Tailgate Talks, our first one of the 2025 season. And we're here talking to Charlie Menard, the owner of Canteen Creemee. Welcome to the tailgate, Charlie.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me. What a pleasure.
Right? You never thought you'd end up sitting on like the back of the old Datsun, huh?
I thought I'd be in the back, yeah, at some point, but
So,
this works.
so we're hanging out in the parking lot here and at Canteen Creemee. How did you get into this business anyway?
How did I get into this business? I had those. One day I just got this big idea. Of course, there had been a creamy stand here for a very long time.
Charlie's Creamies, right?
Well, it was, and then it became Country Creamy.
Country Creamies, that's right.
So a very long time, very long history of a place here, and I had been toying with the idea. There had been a couple of ideas where I wanted to kind of do something on my own for quite a long time, and I knew about this place being for sale, but at the time it was like, nah, it's not right for me. And then all of a sudden one day I just got this.
Because you're like a fancy schmancy chef, right?
I don't know about that, but it was different. It was different, and I thought, what if I did this, but I did it good? And I got this idea in my head, and I walked around with it for a little while, and I said, okay, don't say anything to anybody, because this is dumb. This is a crazy idea. And, don't say anything. Let it go for 24 hours from now. And I said, okay, 24 hours. And so that's what I did. I waited 24 hours, and at that minute, I blurted it out to some people, and they were all like, huh, that might work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did it. I moved forward, and it was something that I could do, really, as a cook without any money. I was able to like kind of just make it happen.
So what's your background? Like, what were you doing before this? 'Cause I know you're a chef by trade. So like,
Right,
what,
right,
what
yeah.
kind of stuff were you doing?
So I was, yeah, I was cooking, man. I've been cooking my whole life. I was last, up on the hill at
Mm-hmm.
the inn at the Round Barn for a very long time, and before that, I had kind of traveled around the country and other places and working my, getting experience and
Yeah.
doing my thing.
Well, this is certainly not your grandfather's creamy stand, that's for sure. And one of the things that I always notice when you go in there is a lot of the menu clearly has a lot of influence from the travel that you do. Seems like, right?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I definitely have picked up a lot. Being able to travel and bring that back, and yeah, yeah, it's really a nice thing to be able to mix it up. Having a place like this, you're not really necessarily constrained to a certain thing. I mean, the foundation is, kind of classic snack bar. That is the foundation.
Yeah.
But really, like one thing that's kind of cool is, of course, snack bars, I think, typically have these big menus because, the food is pretty simple
Hmm.
traditionally. A lot of freezer to fryer stuff. But, so we still have a big menu, which enables us to kind of play around a lot because it's
Hmm.
like, we just keep adding stuff. We get ideas and
Yeah. Give us an example of some of like the kind of quirkier stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think people would think you'd find at a creamy stand in Vermont.
well, the foundation was always, it was going to be fried chicken and creamies.
Fried
And
chicken's my personal favorite.
yeah, and so that was the foundation of it all, and we all kind of everything got built off from that. Um, but it definitely spins, a lot, and especially in the wintertime because we have such a
Hmm.
great local following, and they really are always looking to see, what's new on the menu, and that's super important and cool that they're doing that, because it pushes us to kind of do something new and come up
Yeah.
with something more creative. And but yeah, I mean, it's whether it's the fried chicken banh mi or the last summer we had a young guy coming from Thailand,
Hmm.
and I said, hey, listen, before you leave, I want you to go out and I want you to get me the best green curry paste you can get. Okay,
Hmm.
bring it back here. And so when he did, we came up with, the best. We made the best green curry that we could, and now that is still on the menu. It's named after him, and
What's it called?
it's the it's called Straight Out of Bangkok. It's
Uh-huh.
the Anand green curry bowl, which has fried chicken and
Nice.
rice and green curry, and it's delicious. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't think that can ever come off the menu because, yeah, we love it too much.
Mhm.
I mean, that's like, a lot of the staff, that's their go-to.
Do you sell more ice cream or more food?
In the summer, it's 50-50 almost,
Mhm.
revenue-wise.
And then in the winter, it's more food.
Yeah, for sure. But the ice cream sales are pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that we're able to.
I get the ice cream in the winter.
Yeah, it's really cool that it's like a thing. That
Mhm.
people actually.
Oh, we got people getting.
Just
You got to be careful here in the parking lot, right?
He's gonna make a cameo.
Hey, don't hit us, man. It's on camera, you know. Exactly. Yeah, you got to love the Huron's parking lot.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment here, right?
Yeah. Cool.
So one of the other interesting aspects of your business that I find really amazing is your staff, and that you have all this international staff and some local kids working for you. And truth be told, my kid worked for you for a long time.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about about your staffing and how you're able to do that, and what they bring to the business.
So, I mean, I just gave you a really good.
Yeah, it's a really good example.
Really good example. I mean, having Anand, who was a super amazing young man. I mean, these are not your. I guess like what a lot of people might want you to believe a migrant worker is. These are really cool, inspiring people. These are like smart college students. And Anand, who is basically a doctor, I mean, he had just graduated from veterinary school, and to be a doctor in veterinary medicine, whatever, is a big deal. He's actually a surgeon.
Yeah.
And that's basically.
So he can carve up a chicken.
He can, I mean, every time somebody would be maybe feeling sick or get hurt, whatever it was, Anand would step in, and it's the same thing. I mean, you almost have to be a better doctor, I think, if you're working on animals, because they can't tell you how they feel.
Right.
And, he worked so incredibly hard his whole life. He told me the story of how, all through high school, he went to school 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I was like, every day, 7 days a week, like 12 hours. He's like, yes.
Wow.
And that was all because he was already starting the process of this medical school. And, that's the sort of people that come here, I mean, there's a mix.
Yeah.
There's a mix of people. There's different personalities.
They're all come on the J1 program, right?
J1 program. So, yeah, it's a work and travel program. And, they're vetted by an agency that I work with. And then I vet them. And then, of course, the State Department really monitors the whole thing, the whole process, the whole way through. And they'll work here all summer. And then they get some time before they have their visa is kind of divided in two. And it's the work and travel thing. So after the work part is done, then they have some time that they can spend here just traveling around. And I thought he was waving to me. So anyways, yeah, they get to travel around. And a lot of them will spend basically every dollar they make here all summer traveling around America, and then they go back home. And this is like the most amazing opportunity, I think, for almost anybody. Like, to be able to go and live in another country, not just be a tourist, not just traveling, but they get to actually kind of come here and live for a little while and really get that feeling. It's just, yeah, this program is amazing.
That's awesome. It really is. And it's like such a special place. And it's awesome you've been able to make it in the winter. That was probably not your original idea, was it?
Right. No, I mean, the first year, it was kind of like, okay, kind of shut it down. And then, but shortly after, it was like, I can't just shut down. And we did fried chicken Fridays.
Yep.
That was the first winter. And it was like, that kind of worked.
And
It
then
was
the
like
Thanksgiving thing, right?
the Thanksgiving thing, where we do the Thanksgiving takeout. These packages are like huge, takes up every square inch of the
Yeah, it's
joint.
amazing in there.
It is amazing in there. And that's a really cool thing to be able to do once a year, just change it up. And that's like how we flip the switch, how we go from like summer business to winter business. That really is the point of, the next thing. Yeah.
So you got anything special new planned for this summer?
Well, there's the swimming pool going on the roof. That's going to be.
It's kind of tilted, though.
Well, it's an infinity pool of sorts. But no. I'm hoping to just have a good summer, and I mean, people are always like, you should open up another location and things like that. But I feel like I'm so happy just to be here in this valley with these people. I love. I can't imagine not doing this work.
Yeah.
Really, it's so cool.
Do you miss?
So lucky.
Do you miss the traditional restaurant business at all?
It's not that far removed. I mean,
You don't have to buy linens.
Well, no, that's true, and we're not. There's a lot of things where at the end of the night, being like a takeout joint, we don't have customers here till 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
We close at 8 and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. But really, it comes down to sometimes just the plate that food is being served on. Like we're still doing everything kind of traditionally, and that's why we have long wait times.
Yep.
I'm not gonna. There's no.
Yeah, I mean, you have signs in there saying
That's right.
if you're in a rush, this is not the place for you.
That's right. There's better choices, perhaps, but
They can't say they weren't warned.
I hope they don't. I mean, they will, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, we are doing things as fast as we can, the best we can, all the time. To extreme levels, honestly, because unlike a restaurant, we do not have a way to shut it down. It just keeps.
Keeps
the
coming.
door is always open. The line never stops.
Mhm.
And a restaurant, you can do that.
Yeah, and you talk about being the best. I mean, you were nominated for a James Beard Award. That's pretty exciting.
I didn't talk about being the best.
Well, you're up there, right?
Well, yeah. So
That's quite an honor.
That's the most amazing honor that you can get in this business, and I honestly feel like everybody who works in this business deserves an award of some kind because this is crazy stuff. It's hard to me. Like I've heard that people that work at desk, they say things like, "I have a lot of work to do," and I can't believe that's true.
Well, we perceive it as work. Well, that's why I try to get out and do this kind of stuff. Makes me feel like I'm actually doing something.
No. It's a crazy life that we all live in this this world of restaurants and stuff, and and never feeling like you're doing a good job, always feeling like you need to go faster, do more, whatever it is. You just always are never satisfied, and we beat ourselves up on it. Let alone whatever else comes at us, but. Yeah, to get some sort of recognition is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I saw that. I was like super proud of you because, like I said, I know this business just through my son and everything. And he was always, you launched him into a career in food that, he's a chef now and he's really into it. And he always tells me, he's like, how much he learned here. And just doing a lot of stuff. And you give young
guy. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, and you give young people an opportunity to really, test themselves and learn and.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, there's a few people around that, I provided a first job for or whatever, and they're maybe cooking now. I mean, not all of them, of course, but there's a few. And it's like kind of cool that maybe it was me. I don't know.
Oh well, like I said, with Eli, it was absolutely you. And when you go out to Bellingham, I'm sure he'll set you up at his restaurant and
that'd be
treat
awesome.
you on your next trip to Asia. You can stop in Washington.
All right.
Which I want to talk a little bit about that. And you have a pretty balanced life. You're really into traveling and.
Well, I don't think anybody would argue that the valley is very seasonal.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, right. So no argument there. And you need to embrace it. And this time of year, spring, we it's tough. It's a hard time for me because I don't have a lot of staff yet. I'm waiting for people to get out of school or arrive from another part of the world. But the weekends, like right now, it feels like summer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the weekends can be like, I mean, we just came off from Mother's Day, and that was big. But that comes and goes this time of year. But we can't really close.
Right.
But however, when it gets to stick season, embrace it. Embrace it. Close down for a little while. Take time for yourself and go see the world. I mean, I was always inspired by Tom and
Joan Gorman over at the Millbrook Inn. Yeah, I mean, they did amazing trips.
Yeah, amazing. They
like
lived
twice
the
a
life.
year.
They lived the life. And, Tom is such a wonderful guy. I really love that guy.
Yeah.
And really inspired.
Hell of a cook, too.
Yeah, just a great guy. I loved him. And so, yeah, that always inspired me. And I embrace that kind of still. That, yeah.
No,
I learned from that. And that's what I live for now, is taking that month and traveling and seeing the world.
Which gets you into other sidelights. And I noticed when we were in there, you got the new little watch store in there.
We got a little watch shop. Yeah.
Mad River Time.
Mad River Time. So what time is it?
Time to go buy a watch.
It's Mad River Time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our new little kind of side thing. It's fun.
There's some amazing watches in there, and it gives people something to do when they're waiting for their food.
Yeah, and I've had some really cool conversations there that I'm not used to in my life, because I've always kind of been in the kitchen, washing dishes, cooking, all these things that aren't really face to face with customers. And it's a much different pace when I'm standing there talking about a watch.
Yeah.
And we're actually able to kind of converse and tell stories, and it's been really interesting, and yeah. So if you need a watch, come
It's always Mad River Time here.
It is. It's always Mad River Time.
No, that's awesome. One of the things that you see the recumbent bikes here,
Oh yeah, wow.
You don't see that a lot around here, right?
Not anymore.
There's always great stuff coming in the parking lot.
They were popular a long time ago.
Yeah. So, one of the things I always wanted to point out, that this is, this whole show, the Tailgate Talks, is a Chamber of Commerce thing, and you've been a longtime member of the chamber. I had to drag you kicking and screaming, I think, but not really, but maybe a little bit, right?
Oh man.
What is it? How important is it to you to to be a member of the business community here, and and you've been doing this for a long time. What's it? What does it mean to you, and what does the community mean to you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have, I can't imagine opening up a business like I opened here anywhere else, because I was not traditional, and there was some backlash.
Locally?
Is that the right word? Backlash? Because it wasn't traditional. I mean, a lot of people walk up and they say, I want this.
Vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, or a hot fudge sundae. And it was like, oh, we don't actually have that. And that was tough, because, I didn't know this world. I came from working in restaurants where you write a menu.
Mm-hmm.
People walk in, they sit down, they look at the menu, and they order off it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized shortly after opening this that people thought they already knew the menu before they walked up.
Right. I didn't think about that.
We got.
Oh man, it's Roger. Go back to work.
He's taking pictures, and he wants to do. He's going to sell it. We got a what are they called?
Propaganda.
No, paparazzi.
No, I'm gonna get him on the tailgate. But do you think anyone wants to hear about the phone company?
I think so, actually.
Yeah, we love our phone company here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get Roger on there one of these days. No, that's funny. Anything else you want to talk about? There is one thing I wanted to ask you about too, because bottom line, it's Creemee place, and your Creemees are ridiculous. Why is that? it better than other creamy places?
I don't know that it is. You know, is it different?
Your flavors.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You make your own
like
flavors.
I say, like, you know, when I started this up, it was like I wanted to just do it my way. Like I didn't know this world, you know, but I had a lot of experience in ice cream, and in fact, you know, that was actually one of the inspirations was a few years before I opened this, I had gone to Shelburne Farms to do a Vermont Fresh Network meeting, you know, the annual meeting that they do. And, you know, all the chefs are there, all the farmers. It's a big deal. It's nice. It's a really nice event. And so I did this, and I did ice cream that night. And
Creamies or
no,
hard ice cream?
Hard ice cream.
Yeah.
It was before this place, a couple years before this place. And I won.
Really?
I won. And, you know, it was like, I couldn't believe it. You know, like, you know, I had a line, you know, I had one of the top restaurants in Vermont, like, kind of next to me.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get a single customer.
Everyone likes ice cream.
And I feel so bad. I kind of felt bad because, you know, they were actually having to take their food and, like, go to our line and pass it out to the people waiting in line for our food. So that you know, definitely was in my head of like, okay, you know, maybe I know something about this. Maybe I'm good at this. Maybe, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, why is it? It's different. Is it better? No.
Well, I think your flavors, you make your own flavors, right? I mean, you do all that stuff, and they're really, you know, unique stuff, and the next level sundaes, which are just like, and they're affordable too.
Yeah. No, it's definitely. This is like, hopefully, you know, as bad as the world gets, this is still a happy place for people.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place to end it, on a happy place. Well, I'm glad that you help provide happiness here in the Mad River Valley. And it's awesome how many people come to the valley just to come here to have a Creemee. It's amazing.
I hope so.
And I really appreciate what a good job you do on social media too. That's, if you're gonna, you know, follow Canteen Creemee and really good
And
stuff.
Mad River Time.
And is there an Instagram for that?
There is. Yeah.
All right.
Neither are updated as much as they should be right now.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things too is that how you give the kids that you work here, you know, you give them take over the Instagram for a day or a week.
I love it.
And people dig it.
Yeah.
So there's some good stuff on there. Go to the website, check it out. There's at canteencreemee.com, and there's I love the rap. You know, the song you had done.
Oh. Yeah. No, I get inspired a lot, and I've all of a sudden like, hey, I should do this. Yeah.
Well, like I said, go check it out, and you never know when Charlie's going to be open, so you got to go keep on Instagram, and you can figure out when they're open.
The summer hours, you know, get very consistent, and they're happening very soon. So, all right. Hopefully they come check us out.
Well, thanks so much for joining me on the tailgate, and we'll see you on the Creemee stand line real soon.
All right.
Thanks, Charlie.